everyone, welcome to JustFeg Network TV, a place where you can get the latest information on things happening around the world, and you are in the right place. Please click the red subscribe button and also press the bell icon next to it so you can be notified for an update on any published news. What really do Nigeria make of President Muhammadu Buhari's, or for that matter, any politician promises? Stress this further and you would come to the question whether politicians who will vote into the office are actually ever evaluated on how much they kept their election campaign promises. Before we proceed any further, we have to remind ourselves of one brash mayor of a city in the United States of America in the 1980s who earned a mention and a photograph in Time magazine for keeping a campaign promise. He has boasted that he would finish an aquarium in a given time. A wage asked him what would happen if he failed to keep his promises. He referred back, "I would jump into the aquarium myself and swim there if it was not completed and commissioned on a given date." The date arrived and the aquarium was not completed. The mayor invited the media, pumped water into the aquarium and swam away to the delight of the city dwellers. Now back to Buhari, who really is to be blamed. They will blame a politician who in 2015 promised us heaven, but couldn't even give us the heart, no matter how bleated and scorched. I know some will say he gives us hell, especially if they live in a Benue town, sacked and touched by suspected cattle herders, or if they live in a Zamfara village, being incessantly pillaged by cattle rustlers. I know there will be some persons out there who will be mocked and who will mock me, and there will be some person who will be mocked and who will mock me from pointing out the dust in some other person's eyes while ignoring the log in mine. After all, the kings of my town was kidnapped and killed under Buhari's watch by suspected herdsmen, who 3 years down the lines have yet to be punished. Yet the question could be seriously asked if the real problem rests with the politicians who make promises but fail to keep them, or the citizens who re-elect them despite their failed promises. This question remains pertinent not just because of Buhari, who won a re-election even though he hardly kept any of the promises he made while campaigning to be elected into the office for his first term. But the same was the case with former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who was re-elected in 2003 despite the disastrous first outing and despite the flawed elections which many believe was rigged or favor Obasanjo. And Obasanjo not only remained cocky all through his second term, he even attempted a rancorous third term tenure elongation scheme. He has stridently denied any involvement in it, all through the accused attempt to alter the constitution to allow Obasanjo another presidential bid. Obasanjo's supporters kept insulting Nigeria with their mantra that no Nigerian will be able to step into Obasanjo's shoe. Just like Obasanjo, the man of the moment, has also refused to learn how to be humble. No, my intention here is not to excoriate both men, but to ask the question that Obasanjo and Buhari deserve to have been re-elected. In May 2004, I wrote a 7-day series of articles which ended on the last Sunday of that month, in which I showed that Obasanjo not only failed, but had failed woefully. I simply did what other journalists who were busy hailing Obasanjo as God's gift to Nigeria, that Obasanjo had failed to meet the plans spelled out for him in the Presidential Policy Advisory Committee. In fact, the head of that PPAC, Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma, told journalists in May 2003 that we failed to grow the economy, we failed to grow jobs. So why was Obasanjo re-elected? You could ask the same question about Buhari and be 100% right. I say this because if you check Buhari's promises against his records, you would marvel why Nigeria re-elected a politician who made great promises in 2015 and failed to keep them. For instance, Buhari said in 2015, if you nominate me in December 2014 and elect me in February 2015, my administration will initiate action to amend the Nigerian constitution with a view to devolving powers, duties, and responsibility to states in order to entrench true federalism and the federal spirit. Strengthen INEX to reduce, if possible, eliminate electoral malpractices in Nigerian political life. Extract the best and brightest of our sons and daughters in our politics and public service by aggressive recruitment of private sector people, academics, and professionals within Nigerians, and in the diasporans through internship, fellowship, executive, appointment, and special nomination to contest elective offices, and also prevent the abuses and misuse of executive, legislative, and public offices through greater accountability, transparency, strict and implementable anti-corruption laws through strengthening and sanitizing the EFCC and ICPC as independent entities, security and conflict resolution on national security and defense. I will urgently secure the territorial integrity of the nations. I will never leave the defense of the nation in the hands of hunters, children, and civilian JTF through the following. I urgently address capacity building mechanism of law enforcement agents in terms of quantity and quality, as this is critical in safeguarding the sanctity of lives and properties. Establish a well-trained, adequate, equipped, and goal-driving serious crime squad to combat insurgencies, kidnapping, armed robbery, ethno-religions, and communal clashes nationwide. Consult and amend the constitution to enable states and local governments to create cities, local government and state policing system based on the resources available at each levels. To address the peculiar need of each community, I will therefore work with the National Assembly to set and revive, when needed, boundaries of operations for federal, state, and local government policing units through new criminal justice legislations to replace the Criminal Code, the Penal Code, and the Police Act 4. On conflict resolution, national unity, and social harmony, I will establish a conflict resolution commission to help prevent, mitigate, and resolve civil conflict within the polity. Bring permanent peace and solution to the insurgents issue in the northeast, the Niger Delta, and other conflict-prone states and areas such as Plateau, Benin, Bauchi, Borno, Abia, Taraba, Yobe, and Kaduna, in order to engender national unity and social harmony. Initiate policies to ensure that Nigeria are free to live and work in any part of the country by removing states of origin, tribe, ethnic, and religion affiliation from documentation requirements in our identification of citizens, and replace this with states of residence, and fashion out the appropriate manual qualification for obtaining such a state of residency nationwide. He even vowed, I, Muhammad Buhari, believe that our politics is broken. Our nation urgently needs fundamental political reform and improvement in governance, more transparency and accountability, amend the constitution to remove immunity from prosecution for elected officers in criminal cases, restructure governance for a leaner, more efficient, and adequate compensated public service sectors, while promoting effective participations of the private sector for more robust job creation program to employ the teeming job. Buhari. Require full disclosures in media outlets of all government contracts over 100 million naira prior to award and during implementation at regular interval. Reform and strengthen the justice system for efficient administration and dispensation of justice with the creation of special courts for accelerated hearing of corruption, drug trafficking, terrorism, and similar cases of national importance. Fully enforce the Freedom of Information Act, Act 1, so that government data set can be requested and used by the public, and then such data set be published on regular basis. Amend the Constitution to require local government to publish their meeting minutes, service performance data, and item of spending over 10 million naira. Yes, I did not make this up, but all the promises above were contained in Buhari manifesto. This is the end of today's news. What are your thoughts about this? Please kindly put your comments at the comment section below. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.